Hey guys, welcome back to another entertainment roundup. I'm J77, and I got a couple of stories I want to talk about. I might as well start with the sporting world first. Been watching watching some of the games, been listening to some of the games at work, enjoying the playoffs, enjoying the series between the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors. Very good series. I will get back on some of the incidents that have been going on these last weeks and why the Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors has become more personal than ever before because of a comment of a GM, which I don't even know who he is, have said about Brooklyn. Being a Brooklynite myself, I was not all surprised, but I just think it was in poor taste, being that he is of a higher rep and he represents the franchise. Nevertheless, I think it's been blown out of proportion, and I'll get to that in due time. But I got to talk about the Clippers situation here, and the situation in general that has really become a major topic, not only on the web but just basically everywhere. If you're not in, if it's in the sports column or the major column, or even the political column, it's being talked about. And what makes this story so sad is that it's actually becoming a distraction for what we should be enjoying a very interesting first round of the NBA playoff, and that is the owner of the Clippers and his rant that which. For some mysterious reason, TMC have actually found, and needless to say, I will be leaving a link to the article as well as the audio itself, courtesy of TMZ. But needless to say, when I heard the audio, I just sat back, just listened, took in everything that was being said, and just basically thought about what was being said. I wanted to make sure that what I was hearing is indeed what I was hearing, and just simply put, this owner, who I believe now is in his 80s, really made it very clear that he doesn't want anyone who's with him to hang out with people who are of ethnic background in public. He doesn't want it to flaunt it. He also goes on to say he doesn't want them in their basketball game, which really was the main focus of this story. And he meant and Bird and Magic Johnson had names had been mentioned among those, and it was very interesting. It's been a very interesting conversation, very disturbing conversation. But there was one thing that actually was said in that audio that caught my attention because he kept bringing about the ethnic diversity, African Americans, the Latins, and how he feels that we shouldn't share it publicly, and how he feels they have their culture and they have their own feelings, and he has that same feelings. And the woman who I believe is Stivio, Stiviano, that's what it is. Sterling was asked a question. It was at the end of the video, and she was asked if if I hang out with Caucasian white people, would you have a problem with that? And there was a very good 8, 9, probably 10-second pause, and he never answered the question. And that alone was very telling. He never answered the question. Of course, it was wrong to Larry Bird. And I find that he was able to get mad at her, and he was more and more her. He was really upset with her. But the reality is, there's something more deep into it than possible. And that's what that audio has been brought down, because it seemed like he was ashamed that she would hang out, even though she is mixed. She is Mexican and half black. She seemed ashamed that she would hang out and have post to Instagram and hang out in the games, and it seemed like it's messing up his image with not really much with him, but his friends who may feel just as much disdain for minorities than he is. Um, this I will ask you if you guys do go to this link to be mindful of this audio for a different reason, but when you hear it, don't go too nuts. All right, don't go crazy. But keep in mind, yeah, it is pretty disturbing. Now, for my question here, and that's a question towards this audio, because it's something that Johnson have said in his show that he does with his other fellow broadcasters. It will And I have to ask this question: just how much authentic this audio is, and two, how did this audio tape was founded by TMZ? I mean, I find it's very odd that TMZ got a hold of it. I find it's very odd that this was actually recorded, and it makes me wonder about who either sent it in or who actually had it, and how long was this before this whole thing going on, and why was this audio now being played in the midst of a playoff? So I gotta ask that question because it is something that I when I heard about it, because I didn't heard about it yesterday, I heard about it this morning, which is Sunday, by the way, and the first thing I've asked myself is, well, where this is news to me. I didn't even see it. I saw on my front page. I heard about this rant. I'm like, okay, what is this rant about? And I just wanted to hear the tape just to hear for myself exactly what was going on. Keep in mind, sometimes the audio can be deceiving, and I'm not saying this is deceiving. I'm not saying it is authentic either, but you got to be mindful that unless we hear something from the Clippers or what's going on in the investigation, keep that in a great salt that this may have been edited, this may possibly have been dubbed, and it probably was he was just set up to say things that will make it worse. But if this is actually true, and I think Johnson have said it best, if this is actually true, then the NBA needs to seriously take steps to either A, suspend him possibly for a year, like you do with some owners who does bad things, or B, have him sell the team, because you cannot have an owner who feels that way. Mind you, he not only is an owner, from what I've read about him, he owns a lot of the properties, and I always find it funny that these guys have no problem of people going to their games, buying their products, renting their apartment, but they still have this ill will towards them, even though they're the ones that line their pockets. It's very, very sad, and it's very, very disturbing. And this is something at the NBA, which is a very, very strong, multi-diverse group. Yes, it is. Majority of it is black, but there is still a multi diverse group, which is trying to reach out towards other ethnic groups across the country. You cannot have an owner who has that feelings. When you hear someone say, "I don't want you to bring blacks to the games," that's a tall tale. That says a lot. And this is even mine, according to a lot of stuff I've been reading about it, this ain't the first time he's had this issue brought up. So this is something that the NBA seriously need to take a strong look at, if anything else. What makes this even more sad, it happens during a period where the Clippers are in the playoffs. I mean, come on, man. I mean, this was bad timing, if I can say so myself. But hopefully the NBA will do the right thing. I know Reverend Al Sharpton this morning have talked about it. A lot of radio stations have talked about it. So this is not going to go away. This is going to be a heat topic. This is going to be a very strong topic. And one can only hope that they can actually resolve this before it becomes even more hot topic when the playoff is over. So let's see what the NBA does. I'll leave a link to both an article and also towards the audio. But before I almost forgot, before I close this out, yes, Magic Johnson did say some stuff about it. He immediately disassociated himself with Sterling on Twitter, telling his fellows that he will not be going to the Clipper games as long as Donald Sterling is the owner, which is kind of strange because he never played for the guy. He is a Los Angeles. He's always played for Los Angeles Lakers. He is also a co-owner of the Dodgers. Then was asked if he shares his feelings about the league tape. He was. This was ABC ESPN's countdown. This was brought to their attention, and he have said a lot of stuff. And I will leave a link. The article that I'm leaving a link with does have the video, so you guys can check it out yourself in case you didn't see it. But just his face alone was telling. Just his face alone, and how he was, his expression. You can tell that he was deeply hurt. And a man like that, which I truly admire, he reinvented himself in ways I never thought possible. He went from a baseball player to a businessman and has really kept himself healthy throughout his whole entire life with the HIV and all. this is very hurtful for him, and being the fact that he have talked to them, he had known the guy, and if this to come out, that's pretty much a deep blow. But most importantly, you got to ask yourself, he's hurt like this. What do you think the players are, the coach? They can't be too happy about what's going on right now, and you got to hope that they can actually block that out and take care of business throughout the remaining of the series. One can only happen. I'd like to hear your feelings on this. Leave your comments. I'd like to hear your opinion on it, where you agree with what has happened and disagree. And again, I am curious. How did TMZ got this? How did they actually get a hold of this tape? Moving on from one offensive situation to another, Joan Rivers. She's been on the road the last few days. First, she had made an offensive comment about the Cleveland kidnapping victims, and she chose to mock Lindsay Lohan on her very difficult and personal secret she had revealed on a reality documentary series. In case you guys haven't known, Lindsay Lohan had revealed that she had a miscarriage while filming. Ran into TMZ had ran. Oh God, TMZ, you never fails me. You know that TMZ ran into Joan Rivers and her daughter Melissa Rivers on the street this week and asked her for her thoughts on the topic. And I honestly think they did this on purpose, especially after what has happened, what she has said about comparing herself to the Cleveland kidnapping victims. And these are the words that she said. I hope she keeps it. Rivers said, as her daughter abruptly cringed, "Excuse me, what do you think I am?" Joan said, turning to her daughter. "I was born with a coat hanger in my ear." The article is very short. It basically says, "Way to go, shaming a young woman who had gone through a difficult time." Again, I'm going to say this. I'm not as much concerned about what her mockery. It can mean anything, but you would think that Joel would just keep the comedic thing on a very minimum level. I don't even think she know about the Lindsay Lohan situation. I really don't. And from what it sounds like, I don't even think she realized what the question was. And again, TMZ, who has been on the road himself in terms of bringing out scandals, I think they purposely went to her just for the sake of getting a reaction and hopefully she says something wrong. And from some ways, they have gotten their wish. Again, before I leave this article and move on, because I'm not going to stay to my time for it. My hearts go out to Lindsay Lohan. Keep in mind, I have spoken about her, criticized her a lot, but one thing I cannot criticize her on is the fact that she is still human, and this must have been a painful, very difficult for her to actually reveal in that documentary. Miscarriage from anyone, whether you are rich or poor, is very difficult. It is emotional and very painful for the mother, and I hope that she can pull through. She's been very quiet in the media lately, and pretty much I think that's the way she referred it. But the fact that she came out and said that's not an easy thing to do, and I think that Joan Rivers, who has have an unapologetic way of doing things, especially when it's obvious she's being offensive, needs to understand that is not something fun and games. And she's not making any friends right now. But keep in mind, for me, she hasn't been irrelevant in years. In 20 years, I have not heard much about Joan Rivers. I think the last thing she did, and I don't even know if she still does that, was a TV guide channel on cable. That's how far she had fallen. From her talk shows until her other days where she was really much a big time in Hollywood. I don't consider her a big time anymore, and I agree with the person who have commented, fellow Maddox Brunson, who have said, "Why are we even paying attention to her? Is she even relevant? What am I, 5 years old?" And I kind of agree with him because she hasn't done anything that deserved this much attention. So in terms of what she said to Lindsay Lohan, I don't think she understood the question. I really didn't. I don't think she understood the question. But even with that being said, if you didn't understand the question, please just keep quiet, please. Leave the link below. You may disagree. I'll leave the link below. You can read it yourself. Moving right along. Now, before I get to these last three, I might as well just touch briefly back on basketball. The Brooklyn Nets and the Toronto Raptors having a very interesting series. This series could possibly go to Game 7. Um, this is not too big of a deal, but needless to say, a lot of Brooklyn Knights have taken personal for what the general manager of the Toronto Raptors have said. Now, the general manager had a rally cry in Toronto. They to pump up the team, pump up the fans. This was largely due to the fact that people thought that the Nets have tanked the rest of the remaining games to get the sixth seed to take on Toronto. I don't think that's true. I think that personally, I think that they was resting guys, and when you rest guys, you're not on full strength, and you tend to lose more than you gain. But they already clinched the playoff, so what difference does it make? And let's keep it real. A lot of teams have done the same thing, and it was like, and to point Brooklyn for resting players and not playing to their full capacity is just ludicrous. So I'm not buying that for a second. But apparently Toronto took it as a marching cry, especially since they felt that it can beat them easily than the Chicago Bulls can. So they took that as a rally cry, and one of the rally cries was the general manager, outside the arena, pumping up the crowd, and he said some stuff that got a lot of Brooklyn Knights not too happy about. He said, "F Brooklyn." It's okay. This caught a lot of people's attention. The players was asked about it. The players didn't really care. They just wanted to win. But he did later on that same day apologize for his actions. I don't know if the NBA took any action towards him. I seriously doubt they did. But even with that being said, trash talk can sometimes go a little overboard. I think the problem where a lot of people have is that he is a GM and he's supposed to show better restraint. He's supposed to show a sense of leadership when it comes to the situation. You can pump up the crowd, but you got to keep in mind of who was in the audience. There were children there, and I just think he just went a little bit ahead of himself. A lot of people criticize him for it. I think he made a mistake. He's aware of it. I'm not going to go nuts about it, but it is something that I think that fellow Brooklyn Knights like myself is saying, okay, you just basically said that our city is nothing. We're going to show you what we're made of. And that's something that I think, if anything else, that fans of the Brooklyn Nets should use and basically go out there and support the team now more than ever. Keep in mind that the Brooklyn Nets fan base is still growing. It's not quite there yet. It is still a New York Knicks town, and for them to get a fan base, it's going to take time. But one thing is certain: if the Brooklyn Nets keep winning, their fan base is going to grow. And to me, nothing was more good timing than these playoffs. The crowd was into it in Game 3. The crowd needs to be into it again in Game 4, and continue on that onward, showing that hey, we're here and we're going to be here to stay. Now I can move on to the other stories here. I might as well touch on the Willie Nelson induction to the Austin City Hall of Fame. Is something that I'm very happy for him. He's one of the great legends in his genre, and to me, he's already a Hall of Fame musician. But to me, this is even more of an honor because of his ties towards Texas. But Willie Nelson was indicted into Austin City Limit Hall of Fame by fellow Texan Matthew McConaughey on Saturday night in the institution inaugural class. There will be no Austin City Limit without Willie Nelson, McConaughey told the audience, who, as he presented the honors, according to the Associated Press. Nelson was the very first musician to perform in Austin City Limits when his show premiered in 1974 ACL, and now is heading into his 40th season, making it the longest-running television music program in the U.S. It means a lot to Austin City Limits and Austin, the music capital of the world, Nelson said before the show. Accompanied by Emilio Harris, Len LaVault, the 81-year-old country star singer took the stage at the University of Texas at Austin, the original home of Austin City Limits, for a set that includes "On the Road Again" and "Roll Me Up and Smoke Me With When I Die." Interesting. He closed out the evening with Buddy Guy and Kevin Wayne Shepherd playing the Texas floor. Willie Nelson in the Hall of Fame inaugural class were joining Willie Nelson in the inaugural Fame class was Stephen Ray Vaughan and Double Trouble Show and the Double Trouble Show creator, longtime producer Bill Audios, ARHOS. The interview Texas football coach Dahl Roy, who hosted the pregame picking party that were one of the show's original inspiration. I'll leave a link below so you guys can check it out. But for those who love Willie Nelson, this is something of a big honor, and couldn't happen to a more better person. I really am happy that that the Austin City Limits have done that. So leave a link. I'll let you guys look at it yourself. I'm gonna move on. This was actually hit the news a few days ago, and it was confirmed uh, by the person who represents Jodie Foster, but it has been confirmed to E! News that the actress married her longtime girlfriend, photographer Alexandra Hedison, last weekend. The two began dating last summer, and the news of their romance first surfaced in October of 2013. Foster and photographer were photographed in January taking a stroll in New York City's West Village. The 50-year-old star publicly came out in 2013 Golden Globes Awards while on stage accepting a CB DeMille's Award. I already did my coming out about 1,000 years ago, but back in the Stone Age, in the very quiet days when fragile girl will open up and trust to trusted friends and family, co-workers, and then gradually, periodically, everyone who knew her, she said. If I had to fight for my life, I felt real and honest and normal against the odds. Then maybe you too will value privacy above all else, she later added. Now, keep in mind she's not the only one in the past few years that's been coming out and opening up about their sexuality. And to me, I have no problem with that. I wish that we come to a day that they didn't have to do that. But now, especially with a lot of the anti-gay groups that are out there trying to make laws preventing gay marriage, pretty much even preventing people of sexual orientation to work. I think now more than ever it is important that people do come out. Celebrities of all kinds. Ellen Page have done it. Jodie Foster has done it. Um, Zach Zigro of Spock, he has done it. I hope I've said his name right. I do apologize if I don't. And I feel it has more meaning because these are the stars a lot of people have followed over the years. These are the stars that we watch on the screen and continue to watch on the screen. And if we have no problem with them doing what they do best, why are we so concerned about who they're with on a personal level? And that is something that it always bothers me when I hear these guys. They want to talk about moral grounds, but yet these are human beings just like you and me, and they make it sound like they're not even human. And this is, it's sad. So hearing what Jodie Foster is, hearing how happy she is, hearing that she married her longtime girlfriend, I'm very happy for her. And I wish their marriage to be long and prosperous. Yet I still feel that a lot of people don't see that, and it's kind of sad that they don't. But hopefully, with all these stars coming out, they begin to realize that, hey, these are stars I like. What I'm gonna do now? People need to wake up. And hearing Jodie Foster coming out, Ellen Page coming out, and others coming out, especially athletes, who I believe is going to have an even harder time. Hearing it coming out, I think that it's a good thing. It's a good thing, especially in this very hostile environment that they are facing, and it's more hostile now than ever because of radical religious groups and as well as politicians who seem to use this as an anchor to try and get votes, which is to me sad. I'll leave a link below. Let you guys look at it. Let you guys comment on it. But right now, heading to the last story, which is Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg is looking to direct an adaptation of Ronald Dahl's books known as Big Friendly Giant. It is a book I haven't read, so keep that in mind. But it is something that a lot of the studios lately has been going back to Dahl's work. Dahl's work has been adapted on Broadway, Matilda, which has gotten very favorable reviews, and has now on their second year on Broadway as we speak. We also have some other movies like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and now it seems like more and more people are going back to Dawson's work to adapt to the big screen. The article pretty much says the Dawson novel has remained a steady source of big screen success, and now Steven Spielberg is set to bring the B.F.G. to theaters, according to Hollywood Report. The classic story uh, has been generated as DreamWorks has been the talk at DreamWorks since 2011 when producer Catherine Kennedy bought the rights to John Menendez's Shakespeare in Love and originally taped to direct, but moved on to the rights. I'm sorry, but moved on to the helm. The best exotic Mega Gold Hotel 2 instead. Now Steven Spielberg will resume uh, with AT director terrestrial screenwriter Melissa Marcinson to bring Dolph's 1982 children's book to life. The particular BFG refers to as Big Friendly Giant will join forces with the young Sophie to put a stop to his fellow giants' monstrous ways. Along Along the way, the Queen of England, the character of Doss based on Elizabeth II, joined their quest. When the last time someone asked Helen Mirren if she would ever reprise her Oscar-winning role, the BFS had become an animated movie in UK, ITV, and in 1989 it has been performed on stage play. Spielberg adaptation will make the story's first big screen treatment. Charles and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant's Peach, The Witch, Matilda, A Fantastic Mr. Foster are among the Dahl stories that have become a successful film hit. I want to make a correction on one thing. Matilda was not a hit. I just want to make that clear. It is a cult classic. I will say that. No question, people love it, but it wasn't a hit. I want to make that clear. It wasn't a hit. I did not know Fantastic Mr. Fox was a Dahl's book. That I will say. I didn't even make the connection. And Fantastic Mr. Fox had a huge liking with fans, with critics, and moviegoers. So James and the Giant Peach, I liked it. Charles and the Chocolate Factory. Really all depends which one you want. I actually like the old one better, even though Dahl himself, who when he was still alive, did not like the treatment of the movie. Just keep that in mind. And it was one of the reasons why we have yet to see the sequel to the book ever come out. He would not let them do a sequel to this book. He did not like that movie at all. Kind of interesting. But yeah, Steven Spielberg looking to do a movie of it. I welcome it. But I think anybody can do justice to this film is him. I'm kind of curious what he's going to do with 1010 because he has committed to direct that alongside with his other partner. He was supposed to direct that later on, I believe. 2015, 2016, I believe that's supposed to come, but he's supposed to be a three-part thing. And even though despite Tintin didn't do well in the box office, he was committed to continue on the series, make it two, and then finally make the three. But it is a questionable. It is something that is long down the road. The point thing is, Big Friendly Giant is definitely going to be something that I think a lot of Dolls fans love, and Dolls fans will follow. So, by all means, go for it, Steven Spielberg. I want to see how you do with it. I will leave the links to all the stories that I've just talked about. I hope you guys have any feedback you'd like to do in terms of the stories I comment on. As usual, links below, and let me know what you feel. But until then, guys, Jason77 saying take care, be safe, and I'll talk to you soon.